Hello, Dawn. I am actually super excited to have you with us today because I met you in Belfast, although you're
Yeah.
American. Met you in the gym. Where else?
Yes.
And like honestly, as a friend, I have always been extremely impressed and motivated by you and by everything you have achieved and everything you managed to juggle with your kids. And just for anybody that is watching the video, is Dawn is the mom of six. Yes, six.
All,
And,
all mine. Yes.
yeah, and she managed to become a doctor, start her residency, do all of it, all while raising her kids, staying fit, going to the gym, not losing her shit, staying married, not killing her husband, and keeping everybody alive. I mean,
Ah,
that is a pretty amazing accomplishment. So
yeah. Woo.
I'm going to pass the word to you because I think there's so much that we can talk about. So let's start with you making a little bit of an introduction about yourself. You're American, now living in Northern Ireland. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Well, like as you said, I met you at the gym
Yeah.
because that's the go-to for me when I need to let
Well,
off some steam. Yes, yes. When I don't want to choke somebody. But no, I've always really liked working out. When I was a kid, I was a fit kid. I grew up in the country. I did track and field. I did, um, all kinds of sport, playing outside, volleyball, whatever, dance, judo, rugby. So I was always fit as a kid,
you
and
played
then in my
tennis,
early
dude.
20s. And then, when you move here, you kind of lose all of the stuff that you used to do. And it was so easy to do
Where is
back in
here?
the States.
Tell people where is here.
Oh, sorry, in Belfast and Northern Ireland. Yes, I'm in Northern Ireland now.
Okay, but
So
you're originally from the U.S.
I'm from, yeah, my dad was in the Marine Corps, so we moved all around the States, but the last stop was Virginia. So I just say Virginia
Okay.
for ease. And I've been living now here in the UK, Ireland, Northern Ireland, now almost 18 years.
Okay.
Almost
Oh,
18.
wow.
Yeah.
It's funny that you
So
haven't lost your accent. Your American accent is still there, going
that's what
strong.
everybody says. Everybody says that. But then when I go home, people say, "Oh, you don't sound like you're from here. Are you from the islands?" Like, no,
You're from the islands.
no, I am from Virginia. Um, but yeah, so yeah, I was always fit as a kid, and then just coming here, the gym just seemed to be, a way to get back to that. Um, Without the pain, without the risk of injury, like what sports does. So that's, I've just tried to keep up with that.
Okay.
Um,
And
and
what about like how does the med school and uh, get involved in it? Because you went to
well,
med school.
before, yeah, I always I did my undergrad in the States. I
Okay.
did a degree in the States in health sciences, and I had, planned to go to medical school in America. But I was dating my husband, who's from here, from Northern Ireland
Yeah.
at the time. And then I decided to apply to medical school in Ireland.
Okay.
Um, so I applied to medical school in Ireland. I got accepted, got
Okay.
married in the States, and then moved over to Ireland in 2000. And I started medical school there.
Okay.
And then,
Let me
and
just.
then I,
So there were no kids when you applied to med school.
no, there was no kids. The
Okay.
first, yeah.
Okay.
And then I had my first one while I was at medical school in Dublin.
Okay.
And I said, oh, I'll just take a year off
Okay.
and then I'll go back. But then life came, and then with that is my husband's job moved us around. And so I couldn't really get back into it when I wanted to. So we ended up in Newcastle upon Tyne, and I did another degree while I was in there. I did a degree in physiology while I
Okay.
was there. just to get me, just to sort of keep my toes in the water. Um, and then I applied for medical school again, this time in Aberdeen in Scotland,
Okay.
got accepted, and then did medicine in Aberdeen in
Okay.
Scotland.
How many,
So
so between applying for it for med school in Ireland and starting med school in Aberdeen in Scotland, um, do you have, how many kids did you have in that period of time?
that was 10 years. That was, yeah, it was, well, I did one degree. Well, I started a degree in 2000, didn't finish that medical degree, started again. Actually, I forgot I started a course here in Belfast
Okay.
in anatomy, but then I didn't finish that because my husband's job moved back to Newcastle. So then I applied for Newcastle to do physiology, did that degree. That was from 2005, 2006. So I had 3 children at that time to do that second degree. I had 3 children. So, and then in the middle of that degree, I had my 4th one.
Okay.
And then, um, and then I said, that was it, I'm done. And then I did a degree, yeah. And then I said, right, I'm back at medical school. I applied, got accepted. I had 4. That was 2010. And I said, well, that's me done. And then had another one. uh, and and took some time off, and then finally finished that 2017.
Okay.
So
All right.
then I had another one.
Yeah, we're gonna get to know in a bit. We're gonna get to
Okay.
know in a bit. No, no, no. It's like I'm serving. I'm saving a special place for him.
Yes.
So
Mm.
whenever you're in like, and one thing that I see very common, and I don't have 6 kids, I only have 2, but there is something that I see very often. It's people almost like questioning a woman's ability to go after her career and to go after her goals. And it's almost like very often whenever a woman has a kid, people are like, oh yeah, that's it, that's her done with, like her sole
Yeah.
purpose in life is going to be to be a
Mm.
mother. Did you encounter that whenever you were in med school?
Many times.
Okay. And how did
Many
you stay
times.
motivated?
It would make, well, one would make me very angry. I
Okay.
remember one time I was I can't remember, and this guy, he was from my church, and I know he didn't mean anything. He wasn't trying to be nasty or anything.
Uh,
But he says, oh, you know what will be good for you because you're a mom. You know what will be good for you? You know, you should do something like be a GP or be a pediatrician. And at that time, I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking surgery. And
okay.
and I would get really angry that people would say, well, why do I only have to do something that's now accepted as what women do? Women can be pediatricians or women can be GPs. It's like, well, what's wrong with a woman being a surgeon? You
Yes.
know? And so, yeah, I would get that, and that would just make me, "Argh." And, annoy it.
And were you ever questioned whether or not you were going to be able to finish because you had all the kids?
Um, Maybe, but I, I think I encountered more attitude, or you know how you can sense like someone doesn't quite really believe in what you're trying to achieve. I could see that a few times, but no one really would articulate it exactly.
Okay. How did you
They
overcome
would be,
that?
what's that?
How did you overcome that?
You just keep going.
Okay.
You just have to ignore it. And I don't acknowledge it. I don't want them to, it's not putting on a front, but people are just going to say crap to you all the time. And it just steals your energy, you
Okay.
know?
And on that same note, did you ever question yourself? Because like you had to change a lot of times your degree and where you were going because ultimately you were trying to keep up with your husband's change all the time. Did you ever question
Mm.
that you were like, did you ever question your ability to finish, or if you ever going to finish and be like, okay, maybe everybody's right and I'm just not cut out for this and I'm going to have to drop? Did you ever think like that?
Mm, let me see. Not for a long time. There might have been, a few instances, and it would usually be after I would have some sort of encounter with someone. You
Okay.
know, I remembered one time I was really struggling. This is when I was at medical school, and I was really struggling with childcare and getting, decent childcare. And I had used this nanny agency that was voted, oh, we're the best nanny agency, da, 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 da. And the nanny that they had sent was just awful.
Okay.
And I was like, how am I going to do this? And so I was trying to explain this through an email to to the dean and to the my tutor of the year, and they just didn't seem to get it.
Okay.
And I was thinking, and then I had to have a special meeting with them, and then the whole thing, they were upset more about the tone of my emails
Uh-huh.
than my actual the
Problem.
struggling that I was going through at the time.
Okay.
And I just felt like I am, hitting my head against a brick wall here,
Okay.
and I'm trying so hard, and it's not that I'm being, negligent about my studies. People have let me down, and I'm trying to explain that to you, and you're upset about how I've written the email.
The problem is much bigger than the language I'm using.
Yes, yes, and I didn't think I didn't think my language or whatever was offensive, or you just can't read tone of an email. But I
Yes.
had to have this whole meeting, and I was just so frustrated that they didn't understand what I was going through as a woman with children. And my husband was away. He wasn't in Scotland with me. He was still, where was he? He was in Newcastle or
Wait,
Qatar.
wait
I can't
a
remember
second.
exactly.
So hold on. You were juggling med school with
Yes,
your children
yes,
and your husband being away.
yes.
Wow. Okay.
and and that was the first. I was so frustrated, like, girl, you just, like, my eyeballs. I was just like, I am going to explode. And then they would sometimes I would feel like if anything else happens, I'm going to just split open, like, right down the middle. And I was using this type of language, just as I would speak to you at the gym or to someone else. And I just think that they were so, the medical school was like, whoa, I don't understand. Like,
You're not being proper enough for us.
yeah. And then I remember them saying, well, would you speak to a consultant like that? And I was like, well, yeah, if I'm just, I wasn't speaking about a patient. I was just talking about my personal experiences and what I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one point where I was so frustrated. And I remember crying. I was in the computer room, and a friend of mine came up. Well, she wasn't a friend at the time, but she didn't know who I was. And she just encouraged me. She's like, you just need to keep at it. You need to just keep going. And I didn't even know who she was, but she just saw me, like, crying in front of the
That
in
is,
front of the computer screen. So there were, you know, there were moments that I was like, what am I going to do? This is so hard. This is so difficult. But when I did have those feelings, I was so blessed that I had this person just come in and, give me a boost when I was just ready to bang my head,
uh-huh.
against the computer screen.
Okay.
So,
That is,
yeah,
sometimes there are angels that show up in our lives and you're like, I just needed you right now at this second.
that, and she was my angel, and I'm still friendly with her. But and she was a she was in her 20s, just like the rest of the class. But she just listened, in that 5 minutes, and
Yeah.
then I just felt encouraged again.
Yeah.
So I definitely had many, many episodes where you're like, ah, but then I also had those angels who would come in and say, You can do it. You can do it. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Just
So
sometimes I think that's what we need. I think in everything in life, you just need, whenever you're about to give up, and you just need that little bit of a breather. I think that people come into your life and they just give that boost of oxygen that you need before,
yes,
or you're about to drown, kind of.
yes.
Yeah.
So
And then, and then
definitely,
whenever you're going through all that, then you find out that you're pregnant with baby number 5.
yes.
Okay.
That was fourth year. Fourth year. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Then you found out you were pregnant with baby number 5. And then, like, did you keep on attending class throughout your pregnancy?
Oh yeah. I attended until I was 39 weeks.
Okay.
Yes, and the instructor was. I remember the tutor leading that. We were in a hospice. I had a placement in a hospice.
Okay.
So basically, we
Hospice for
didn't.
American people? What is a hospice for American people?
Oh, hospice is when, for palliative care, when, in the hospital, they can't do anything more. You have a terminal diagnosis.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you have a terminal diagnosis. So they can treat you in a hospice
Okay.
instead of the hospital, where you still get medical care, but you're not getting care that's going to, stop the disease process.
Okay.
It's like comfort care.
Okay.
So I was there like my last few weeks, but because it was such a lovely placement and it wasn't very physically taxing,
Okay.
I went there until I was 39 weeks. And I think everybody was so nervous. They're like, "Oh, what are you doing here?
She's gonna
What are
have
you
a child at any moment.
doing?" I'm due next week. Please go home.
Let me ask you a question now, like back to fitness. Whenever you were in the middle of this quote unquote chaos, for anybody else that would be chaos, were you still finding time to train,
Oh, yes.
exercise?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it, for me, that is my headspace.
Okay.
Training, working out, that's my headspace. When I first went to Aberdeen, I didn't have a gym. So what I did was I found in the paper, I found an old rowing machine.
Okay.
And since I was by myself for most of the week, I put the rowing machine right beside the bed so
Okay.
that when I woke up, I could just roll over onto the rowing machine, you
That is
know, do 15, 20 minutes before the kids woke up, and then I could get ready for school because it was, I would have to do little bits like that.
okay. So you rode in the morning for what, 20 minutes, you said?
Yeah. Yeah. For like 20 minutes, just did rowing. And yeah. And then we joined another gym. So a few times I would go maybe right before uni or, or in the evenings.
Mm-hmm.
So, or if the kids had something on like a swimming lesson, then I would go nip upstairs to the gym for, 20, 30 minutes,
Okay.
you know, and
So
I would do
training was always part of your life, like kids, no kids, med school, no med school, fitness was always part, and training was always part of your.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So well, like this was actually more towards the end of but I think it is now is a very fitting place to ask the questions. So what would be your advice to people who say that they don't have the time to exercise? Because you would have every excuse in the book to not exercise, to just,
Yes.
oh, that's it. What would you be your advice to most people who just say, oh, you see, I don't have the time?
Well, you have the time for what you want.
Okay.
You make the time for what you want to have in your life, whatever it is, whether it's training or whatever other goal you have. Everybody's given the same amount of time, no matter if you're rich, poor, everybody's given 24 hours, you
Okay.
know, and you do have a choice to some extent to how you're going to fill those hours,
Okay.
and I can't give like a blanket blueprint for everybody,
Yeah.
but, and not everybody has the means to have a gym. I've been very blessed that now I do have a gym. But when I didn't have a gym, I found an old machine,
How much
that
did
was
that
50,
cost you? How much?
that was 50. 50 pounds.
Okay.
It was a
50
used
pounds, about
machine.
$60, $65.
Yeah, yeah. And I just use that for 20 minutes.
Okay.
Or, you can go for a run. There's just, everybody has busy parts of their day and quiet parts of their day. You just have to want it.
Yeah.
You just have to want it that bad that you're willing to sacrifice. And there'll be some sacrifices. Maybe you can't watch that show that you want to watch, or maybe you can't go have the coffee, at that time with your friends. But I see it as an investment in me, and a lot of times people would say, they think it's selfish for a woman to go to the gym, and but you can't give to people if your cup is empty.
Yes.
So for me to be a nice person and to be a nice doctor and
Amen,
a
girl.
nice wife and a nice mother, you just need to go and refuel yourself, physically, mentally, spiritually.
Yeah.
You I find that at the gym. Physically and mentally I can get that in the gym,
Yeah.
you know. So that's why I make it a priority. And then medically, as a doctor, here I am. I want to be a doctor, or I am a doctor now,
Yeah.
but
Ooh,
I'm trying to
fancy.
sell. I mean, yes, I'm selling health to people. So how can I sell health to people, if I'm not myself healthy?
Yeah.
It's like I have to practice what I preach. So all of the health benefits that you get from exercise, the reduce, the lower your blood pressure, you get protection from dementia, you better blood sugar control, so many things, depression, less likely to suffer from depression, and
And
so many different, loads of, medical benefits from exercise. So I just have to, I believe that, so I have to practice it. So that's why for me, and I'm not always 100%. I don't always get to the gym every single day, and I don't always get the amount of time that I want to get because, it's life. Sometimes the dog has diarrhea or
oh, and you have a dog too. And you have
yes,
a dog too.
yes, or or somebody's got chicken pox, or there's a meeting later with my husband, or even sometimes I've been on the treadmill and then I get a call from the school, somebody's forgotten lunch, or your kid's not behaving well. It's like,
Yeah, no,
but
I know, but I think I'm 100% with you. And whenever you talk about depression, he hit a bit, hit me on the soul a little bit, because I am 100% positive that if you weren't for exercise after, especially after having Nico, that he was a baby that was in an ICU for 10 days,
oh,
and it was a very demanding pregnancy as a whole, like towards the end. If I had
mm,
gotten back to exercise, I would have gotten down a rabbit hole
oh
that would
yes, yeah,
be
yeah.
very difficult to come out of. So I do think that fitness and going to the gym and staying active saved my mental health.
Oh, definitely. And it works faster than any antidepressant. Antidepressants will take, up to 6 weeks before you get an effect, and then they can have all of these side effects.
Yeah.
Whereas with the gym, you never feel worse after the gym, sometimes you don't want to get up. And I know, what was it, yesterday I got up and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can manage this. I had signed up for a new circuits high intensity class, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm just going to be horrible. But I
Yeah.
went anyway. And I felt much better afterwards.
And
And
just now that you're saying this, you were up, because then whenever you finished med school, you started your residency.
yes, or over here we call it a foundation training. Yeah,
But it would be
yeah,
similar to residency, correct?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you started your residency, and after how long in your residency did you find out that you were expecting Noah?
Oh gosh, was it 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, I just started, and then I was thinking, things are bothering me more than what.
They normally would.
yeah, and I was like, why is this bothering me? And I physically I wasn't sick or anything, but then I had this crazy dream. I had a crazy dream that I was riding a dragon and burning up people. And then I said, okay, I need to take a test.
Okay.
And then and then was like, okay, that's why I was so super sensitive and
Yeah.
crazy dreams, and I was like,
Okay.
this is not right. So, yay.
Then so then you got pregnant with Noah. Then now, so how Noah is what, 6 months now? 5, 6 months?
No, he's 9 months.
Stop it.
He'll be 10 months next week.
I
10
can't
months next week.
believe it. I remember he was born, like you posting pictures of him being born like literally yesterday.
Yes, yes. So
So, and did you keep on training during your pregnancy with the crazy hours of residency? And were you still training?
yeah, well, it wasn't, I couldn't do like what I used to do like 4 or 5 times a week. I couldn't do that just because my post was 50 miles away.
Okay.
So I would have to drive 50 miles there, work a 10-hour shift, and it was an hour there. So your day could easily be over 12 hours.
Yeah.
But on the days that I did have off, I would still train.
Okay.
So it wasn't, maybe it would come out to maybe two days a week,
Okay.
maybe
Better
two or
than nothing.
three tops.
Okay.
But then I was working so many hours and I was pregnant. It was like, so
Yeah.
tiring.
Then
So
you
I
had
still
Noah.
managed. Yeah.
Then you had
Yeah.
Noah. And then you resumed exercise obviously whenever you got cleared by your doctor and stuff like that. How did you
Yeah.
manage training with a sleep deprivation?
Oh, I'm still doing it now. He's still not great. Well, you just do what you can do. I just started off when my hips were really, really sore. So I couldn't do loads, but I would just, build up, build up. I would walk with the incline on the treadmill, do a few weights, really worked on my hip flexors I got some exercises from the physio, and I just kept building, kept building, kept building. And then I would walk faster, do a bit more, each week, increase what you can do just a little bit, add on 2 minutes, cardio each week, add a little bit of the weight on. And that's what I was doing until I started to do your challenge.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
Woo!
no, you did my challenge. Yes.
Yes. So I was just and I was like, oh yeah, I'm good at the gym. I know what to do, blah 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 blah. And then your weight kind of, it's not really,
Yeah.
you know, you're not really being objective. So I said, right, I need something else. And I was thinking about getting a trainer because I did that with my last one. With Maliki, I got a trainer for those last few pounds. So I said, well, I'll try Nat because she was at the gym. So I'll see what she's doing. And that really, that was great. That
Good.
was great.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. And
I, I stuck it out. I did everything you said. I did that card and it was hard. Oh my goodness, it was hard
Good.
because I think when you with yourself, you kind of lose your objectivity,
Yeah.
and you're thinking, oh yeah, I'm fine. And then I like, oh my goodness. But I did it. I did it. I absolutely did it.
Good.
5 days a week, 4 weeks. It was tough, but I did it.
I'm like, honestly, whenever I saw you signing up, and I'm like, is that Dawn? And then like
Yeah.
you told me that it was you, and I'm like, oh my goodness, how is she gonna manage that? Because I know that like the challenge is a bit more intense, not because I questioned your physical abilities, but because I know how challenging it is to get to the gym when you have 1, 2 kids, let alone 6, and you just had Noah. So I was like, oh my goodness, she's legit superwoman.
It was hard, and I did. I told my husband I'm doing this challenge. So I'm gonna do. I got the 4 days because there was there's the crash at the gym,
Mhm.
and then on the Saturday I would do another day, and I would have my husband just watch the kids for that. It would take me about an hour and a half, or sometimes 2 hours, just so I could just be relaxed.
Oh,
Have
you
a
know that
coffee
workout so
afterwards.
hard took me 4 hours to finish. You just wrote that on
Yeah,
the
you
afternoon.
know, really, she really pushed me that 4 hour workout. Yeah. And this shopping that I brought back from
The workout's not 4 hours. I just want to make that.
but yeah, it was tough, but I'm on maternity leave for right now, so I said, right, I can focus. I don't have to worry about work and commuting. I can, if it's too hard, I can just crash and go to sleep for a little bit at least, but I managed it and it was fine. And I think the the exercise, it helps with the sleep deprivation.
Oh, yes.
So
Yeah, no, I would 100% agree with that. But I just think it is good because sometimes I'm like, am I like normal? Like having as a trainer, I'm having expectations from people just because you work for me. So that's why I like to speak to other people who are obviously way busier than I am and see the perspective like yourself and be like, okay, maybe I'm not crazy. I'm not having unrealistic expectations because if Dawn can do it, I'm pretty sure anybody else can.
yeah, and it's not like, you might not be able to do it 100% every single day, but that's just life. And nothing is ever going to be 100% easy all the time. You're always going to have interruptions. You're always going to have distractions, whether, you're a single person or you have five kids, six kids, one kid. There's always going to be something to distract you.
Yeah.
So you just have to, a few distractions, that's just normal, but you just have to stay with it. It might take you a bit longer, but it's a lifestyle thing. It's not a race.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle. So over the span of your life, that's how I think of it when I kind of get angry, where someone's messed up my workout, or, I didn't get that time in, and, but it's over your whole life, that I want to be fit.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm girl. I'm 100% with you there. And
yeah.
do you have any specific tips? Like, if you could give 2 tips to somebody who says, "Oh, I'm busy and I just had a baby and I can train. I'm tired." What would be your 2 tips that has worked for you to still get it done? If you could give 2 tips to a person, what
Yeah.
would
If it doesn't have a pulse, it's not important. you know, if it doesn't have a pulse, not important. People before things. So, look after yourself. Yes, your children, but like house stuff, like how tidy the house is, and some of that you just have to let go. And for me, that's really hard because I'm, before kids, maybe I was a little bit OCD about how tidy I like things, but after 6 kids, I would be schizophrenic if I tried to have everything with a streak-free shine. It's just not gonna happen. So instead of, a lot of the house stuff, I just have to let it go. And it's hard for me, but I value my fitness more than I value my house being tidy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna be spotless until they leave. So one, I try to do people before things. You know, if it's inanimate, then it's not important. People first, and then within that, get to the gym.
Just do, like, basically the whole just do it, just get ready and show up, and whatever you
You
do
show
there,
up.
5, 10.
What I do is I put my gym clothes on first thing in the morning. I just put the gym stuff on because I know at least if something, I can go. I plan for it. I put my gym clothes on, even if I'm not going to go until later on in the afternoon. I'm still dressed in
I'm
my gym
ready.
clothes.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Yes. So I think and then if you keep that in your mind, that's what I'm going to do. Where the mind goes, the man follows. So if you set your mind for it early in the morning, I'm going to get to that gym today, whether it's at 10 o'clock in the morning or, 7, 8 o'clock at night. If you set your mind to it, and you keep it set, then you'll do it. So
I love
that's what I have. That's what I do.
that. Good.
Yeah.
It's so inspirational, like to see like your drive, not only your drive like from a training standpoint, but for like sticking with your degree. And although there were doubters and there were people trying to make your life difficult, you're like, you know what, I'm going to prove you, and I'm going to prove you, and I'm going to prove you all wrong, because I just like to do
Yeah.
that. And
Right.
what?
And and after, after that, you don't even, now I don't even care. That I used to think that, but now I don't even care what they say.
Yeah.
I just go ahead anyway. And people even make remarks now, and you're like, what? What? And I'm the doctor. I'm like, yes, yes, I'm the doctor. Yes, get over it. Yes, I have 6 kids. Next.
Yeah, so over it. And speaking
Yeah.
of 6 kids, this was actually a question from one of the members in the Mother Strong League. She's been debating a little bit whether or not she want more kids. How did you know?
Yes.
Did you always know that you wanted 6 kids?
Nope. I said 2.
Okay. Yeah,
I remember saying to my husband, I am finished. I am done.
After baby 2?
Yeah. I got really sick after the second baby. I got like a viral meningitis. I was in Newcastle, and I got really, really sick. Thank God, I've never been that sick again ever. But I was just so completely exhausted, and my second was only 10 months at the time, and the other one, they're only 18 months in between them. And then I got meningitis, and I was just like, I'm done. I can't do anything. you know so I remember, just I only wanted 2. And then and I don't know, how do you know how many you want? I think it's in your heart, really. It's not, you
Okay.
know,
There wasn't anything that it wasn't anything that you were like, oh, you know what, I want to have 6 kids.
not at all. No,
So does it mean
no,
that you're gonna go for number 7?
no, I'm not. No, physically, there is a difference. Now, I had my first one at 26, and
Okay.
then I had Noah at 42.
Okay.
And there is a difference. There is a reason why physiologically women tend to have their children younger. That there is a reason for that. It is definitely more difficult, especially, and my pregnancy was a good pregnancy. I had no issues. I didn't have high blood pressure. I didn't have like swellings. I didn't have varicose veins. I didn't have any of that stuff. But it was still difficult on me, like on my joints. Oh my goodness, my hips, everything was just so sore, and I was so tired. So, and then the recovery with the last one has been longer. Like with the 5th one, I lost the weight a lot faster,
Okay.
and I was fitter a lot faster. But with this one, I just feel like, oh, it's taken me ages. He's now 10 months, but I still am maybe only able to run for about 25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes before the hips start feeling really sore.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's just, I'm just not there yet. And then you age. There is an element of aging.
Yeah.
So I just can't, you just don't bounce back
Yeah.
as quickly. It doesn't mean that you won't bounce back. It
Yeah.
just takes longer. And
Yeah.
I remember coming home from the hospital with the 6th one and looking at the stairs and thinking, oh my God, how am I going to get up the stairs? My hips, my hips are so sore. But then I could do it.
Yeah.
It just takes time, and you're not stuck in your body. I know some people think that, oh, my body just won't do that. Yes, it will. Your body will grow muscle. You're not an anomaly. You're not like the only person on the planet whose body your muscles can grow, your muscles can heal, you can, have a shape. It's just going to take time. And then with the sleep, this kid doesn't sleep. He is not a great sleeper.
But he's
And
cute still.
he's so cute. But your sleep is restorative. Medically, you need your sleep to restore, mentally, physically. And if that's impacted, then you're not going to
Perform.
move as maybe forward as someone who isn't a sleep deprived, but it doesn't mean that you can't do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
No,
so I'm still chugging along, you know,
wobbling your way around.
that's it. And maybe next month I'll be able to run, 30 minutes, you
Uh-huh.
know, but it's an improvement, I just keep going.
Yeah, no, that and again, thank you so much for taking the time, because I know you're busy. I know you could be in bed right now because it is almost 10 o'clock in the UK right now. And thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me,
Oh no, it's no worries. Yes. Yeah.
for sharing a little bit of your story with us, because I do think I have always thought and how motivating and how inspiring your story has always been. So it's been amazing to hear a little bit more about it.
Oh, thanks very much. Thanks for listening, ladies. And just stick with it, ladies. You can do it. If I can do it, anybody. And I don't have any special, anything. I mean,
You don't
anybody
have
can do it.
family help. Just for the record, you don't have family help.
Not a whole lot, no. But we won't go into that.
Oh, okay. No, but what I'm saying is, like, for example, because your family is in the US, so
Yes.
it's not that you can just call your mom and be like, "Hey, mom, I need to go to the gym. Can you come and watch the
Yeah.
kid?"
No, no, no. I have to use well, I'm very fortunate at the gym that I go to. There's a what we call a creche, or
Yeah,
like a little daycare.
yeah,
And they'll look after the children for you. So, but you have to pay for that. So it's another payment, but again, what is that for? A bit of peace, you
yes.
know. People
Oh,
say, "Oh, that's, you got to pay for that as well." And I was like, "Yes, but it's peace of mind. How much can you give? You need to have some time where you're just yourself and you can focus on your own health,
yeah,
you know." So,
yeah.
yeah.
No, that's amazing. And I totally hear you, because sometimes I would just go to the gym and leave the kids in the childcare and sit on the couch in the gym.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
sit on the couch and look at my phone, and then I might go upstairs and do 30 minutes of cardio just because. But sometimes I just want to enjoy
Yeah.
an hour of silence.
Just, yeah. Or just grown-ups, or just not having someone on your body, like climbing on you.
Yeah,
Or can I have just an hour where nobody's climbing on me, you
yeah.
know?
No, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Well,
Yeah.
Dawn, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you. Yes, yes. All the best.
Yeah, thank you, and you have a great night, I hope.
Uh, you could call me back at like 2 and I'll still be up.
Well, have a good time lying in bed, maybe
Yeah,
better.
exactly. For about hour and a half in between. Yeah.
Awesome. Bye bye. Thank you so
Take
much.
care, sweetie. God bless. Kiss the babies. Yes.